It's on. Hey, Daryl Davis in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, Georgia,
Hey, buddy.
the Peachtree State.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, Gwen. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. You know, we've been friends for a very long time.
Forever.
Yes, forever. And you are a, a pianist extraordinaire, graduate of Howard University, the School of Boogie Woogie, you claim. I'm giving it to you, although, you know, Chuck Berry is the man.
Absolutely.
And he's also a good friend of yours as well.
Yes, he is. He's a very good friend of mine.
And you've played with him. You just showed me a video of you on, what was it, Tonight Show? What show was that?
Late Night with David Letterman.
Oh, David Letterman. Okay. How was that experience?
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great,
You
yeah.
enjoyed it.
And Paul Schaefer is a fantastic person and a fantastic musician.
Mhm.
Very generous.
Okay. Over the course of years, I've learned a lot of things about you.
All good, I hope.
Mostly, except that time.
Oh, that time.
That time.
Are we going to talk about that time?
Let's talk about that time.
Okay.
That time, he took me to dinner. Where were we going to? Virginia or Maryland?
What were we going to do besides eat?
We're
Oh,
gonna talk
I think to do a
Ku
Klan
Klux
rally?
Klan. Oh man. Lord have mercy. It was a dark night, and it was a long drive.
It was in Maryland, yeah.
Hmm.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember.
I thought I had a surprise for you.
Daryl, why did we end up having dinner with the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan from, where was it?
From Maryland.
From Maryland.
Yeah.
Prince George's County?
Actually, he was up in Frederick County.
Frederick County.
Uh-huh.
Okay. You managed to make, did you take his gown, his robe?
I have his robe now, yeah.
Gown.
Yeah, he and I became very good friends,
Uh-huh.
and he is no longer in the Klan today. But back when you met him, he was the head of the Klan, yeah.
How did you manage to do that?
Well, he and I became friends, through conversations, and that's what it's about. It's about communication, sitting down and getting to know one another, exposing ourselves to somebody different, getting rid of that xenophobia. Because, in today's society here in our country, we spend too much time talking about each other and talking at each other, but not talking with each other. And that was the solution.
So, because of your conversation, not because you played some boogie woogie for him, did you invite him out to a concert and he just
Yeah.
felt
Yeah, he came to my gigs, danced, carried on,
You know I was scared, right?
Yeah, but you were with me, so what were
But
you
I
scared
was
about?
but I was willing. I took my journalism skills and said, okay, wherever we're going, I know it's going to be interesting. So I went with you, and it was a very civil conversation, great dialogue, that I must say. And again, as it all turns out, you managed to get his robe. And where do you keep it now?
I have a bunch of robes now. I have tons of robes. Some I keep at home, and some I keep, in a locked up, secure place.
It's the collector of Ku Klux Klan robes.
And these are given to me by members of the Klan leaders and members who were active when I met them.
Uh-huh.
And then we would become friends over time through those conversations, and they would renounce their beliefs and give up their ideology and give up their regalia that goes along with their belief system, the robe and hood.
This might be strange, but how do you determine that someone is actually a friend of yours after being associated with the Klan for so many years, even though they gave up their robe?
Well, because you know what? We have to never forget what the Klan did, what they stand for.
Mm-hmm.
But when people give that up, then yes, we need to accept that. Okay, it's like when somebody goes to jail and does their time, they
Right.
pay their debt.
Right.
Okay,
Mhm.
and they're done. And hopefully they won't go back. But because there's no mechanism in place when people get out of prison, there's the rate of recidivism is very high
Right.
because people don't accept them.
Okay.
All right, so I accept people.
Okay. So you accept them if they say they've changed, and you've done your work also
Sure.
to bring about change.
If somebody takes off their robe and hood,
Yeah.
and we know what that stands for,
Yeah.
and they give it to the very person they used to hate, the very person they used to lynch from a tree, the very person they used to drag behind a pickup truck the very person whose church they would bomb, whose house they would burn a cross in the front yard. When they take off that Robin Hood and give it to that person, they are done.
You're here in Atlanta, Georgia, and you're going to be speaking at the Ebenezer Baptist Church. Can you tell me what you're going to be speaking? You're not coming here to play music. You're not coming to do a boogie woogie concert. You're coming here.
Yeah,
to
I did a
about...
boogie woogie concert with Chuck Berry here some years ago at Chastain Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
You weren't here then.
Oh, let that be the reason. But okay, so you're here in Atlanta, and tomorrow you're going to be at Ebenezer Baptist Church.
I am very honored to have been invited by Dr. King's daughter, the Dr. Bernice King.
Thank you, Bernice.
Thank you, Bernice, to invite me here to speak at Martin Luther King Day. She has seen some of my work in the media, what I've done with the Klan, and I asked if I might invite a former Grand Dragon and Imperial Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
You're going to bring one of them guys with you?
Yes, I am, and they agreed, and so he will be with me tomorrow.
Okay. What time tomorrow?
I speak twice. I think at 6:27 in the evening, and then again during the closing remarks at 7:15.
Okay. So I suggest that people from Atlanta come out tomorrow and witness. Daryl Davis presents some information that you need to hear and need to know. He has traveled all over the country, giving lectures and incredible conversations and dialogue and interacting with people of all colors, and coming up with solutions for what has been a major problem in this country for many, many years. And I'm going to say thank you, Daryl, for
Well,
being
thank you for
here.
all that you do, Gwen. And I remember taking you out to dinner with the Klan leader, and it wasn't that much longer that you asked me if I thought he would come down on your radio show in Washington, D.C. And I brought him down there to University of the District of Columbia for you.
You sure did.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what to say. It was interesting. It was a great conversation.
We've had some good times. We went
Yes, we have.
and interviewed B.B. King. I got you an interview with Chuck Berry. You took me
Pine Top Perkins.
Pine Top
Oh,
Perkins.
yes.
My mentor.
Yes. Yes.
Pine
indeed.
Top Perkins.
Pine Top Perkins. I fell in love with Pine Top Perkins that day.
Every woman I know has fallen in love with Pine Top Perkins. Even my wife fell in love with him.
Wow.
What's not to love about Pine Top?
I know that's right, the music. And you've been playing all your life, and
Not all my life, I wish.
Well, most of your life, and you're doing great stuff. But at what point did you really actually become interested in the Ku Klux Klan?
Well, I became interested in them because I had a very severe racist experience when I was 10 years old, and I could not understand it. And I could not get my head around the fact that somebody would dislike me or hate me for the color of my skin. It made no sense. How can you hate me when you don't even know me? And I've been looking for the answer to that question for years. Today I'm 58 years old. So for 48 years, from the age of 10 to my present age, I've been looking for the answer to that question. So in my adult life, I figured, you know what? Who better to ask? Who can provide me that answer better than someone who would join an organization whose whole premise is a hatred towards those people who do not look like them or who do not believe as they believe? So I began seeking out members and leaders of the Ku Klux Klan all over the country. I'm from Chicago originally, but I was living in Maryland, and I started in Maryland and went up north, down south, Midwest, and West. And I found a lot of people who hate. I found a lot of people in the Klan who do not hate. Believe it or not, not all Klan people hate.
Why are they in the Klan?
Because they want, some of them are white supremacists who do hate, and there are others who are white separatists who don't really hate, but they prefer to be with their own kind.
Okay.
And I found black people the same way.
True. That's true. You wrote a book.
I wrote a book called Clandestine relationships. And clandestine is spelled with a K, not a C. KLAN hyphen DESTINE, clandestine relationships. And as a result of my book, there's now a documentary that has come out on me. It was just released this year, and it will be shown nationwide on PBS. The documentary is called Accidental Courtesy, and it'll be shown nationwide on PBS on February the 13th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on their show Independent Lens, and then it will go to Netflix and iTunes. It just had a premiere in Los Angeles a couple of weeks ago, and I was in New York City for the premiere of it there in the theaters last week. And I think it's going to premiere in Chicago next week, and they're trying to get one in Washington, D.C. and some other places. It's showing in Paris right now.
Okay.
But it'll be available for everybody on iTunes and Netflix, and everybody can see it on PBS February 13th, Accidental Courtesy.
Right. Now, a lot of people have sought you out lately for the
with the money or what?
I'm not one of them. For information on this very topic.
Yes.
Steve Harvey.
Yes.
You're recently on the Steve Harvey show. How was that experience?
It was fantastic. Steve Harvey is a wonderful, wonderful man, and he's doing a lot to help all communities. All communities, he's an icon, and he is very passionate about what he does. Mm-hmm. And that's why I hit it off with him, because I'm very passionate about what I do.
Right.
And he could see that. And he welcomed me. He welcomed my guests. Again, I invited this Grand Dragon on the show with me. Mm-hmm. And Steve Harvey, sat there and talked to the guy, and he had a change of emotion, Steve Harvey did, during this thing. And I think, a lot of people are giving Steve Harvey flack right now for meeting with our president-elect.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you what, Steve Harvey is the man. Steve Harvey is real. And Steve Harvey wants to see this country improve and do wonderful things, and he's going to be a part of it. Now, there are a lot of people who want to meet with the president-elect because they want a job, they want the attention that it will, garner them or whatever. Mm-hmm. That is not Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey is for real, and he means what what he says, and does what he says he will do.
Okay. And when is that show going to air?
That show is going to air in February, shortly before the documentary airs.
Okay. Oh, there's so much we could talk about. How do you feel about Donald Trump?
Well, I think Donald Trump is the best thing that has happened to this country, because he is bringing out all the division. And division cannot come together until you see it. Once you see it, you can address it and fix the problems. And before, a lot of things were hidden. People were not coming out and saying what they wanted, and what they meant and what they felt.
How they really felt, yeah.
Yeah, and now they're really coming out because he has emboldened that side. And we really need to sit down and talk with one another instead of talking about each other and talking at each other. And I think Donald Trump, I don't think this was necessarily his intention, but as a residual of his being elected, all of this is coming to a head. And perhaps that's a good thing, because it has not been addressed. The topic of race in our country has always been taboo. But now it is front and center, and that's the only way it's ever going to be solved, when we take it head on and sit down and face our opposition and have a conversation.
Okay.
Which is what I've been doing for the last 30 years
right.
with the Ku Klux Klan and other white supremacists.
Well, Daryl, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And although this is like, an impromptu kind of conversation, I just wanted to get it out and share it with people out there in the cyberspace, internet, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and other social media. And hopefully some people will have an opportunity to come out and listen to you speak at Ebenezer Baptist Church.
And not just me. There are a lot of wonderful speakers. Governor John Kasich is on the bill. Bernie Sanders will be speaking before us. Penny Nance, Bakari Sellers, and many, many others. They have a fantastic program lined up for Martin Luther King Day. Today is his real birthday.
Yes, today is.
But we celebrated the Monday following his real birthday. So in this year of 2017, it falls on January 16th, that Monday, tomorrow.
All right, let's just take this straight on to YouTube.
Live from Atlanta.
Live from Atlanta. See See you later. Oh, I'm Gwen Redding. This is Daryl Davis, and thank you so very much.